Good morning, colleagues. And with our welcoming, I think James has done a great job already. And yesterday we were welcomed by the management of this facility and we were told about what to do and what not to do. But maybe allow me not to welcome you just to the territory called Zimbabwe, but maybe to the idea that we call Zimbabwe. Because Zimbabwe is an idea in motion. Zimbabwe is an idea yet to emerge for others, but an idea definitely that has been long in the making. It is an idea that is not only an idea that is unique or for Zimbabweans alone, it is a shared idea. In the 1960s into the 1970s, it was the students at universities such as Ahmadu Bello University, Makerere University, that were gathering, that were foregoing their lunch and gathering resources to support the liberation movement that was here fighting for Zimbabwe's independence against colonial injustice. That was philanthropy. That was Africans showing solidarity with the idea, the potential of Zimbabwe. That continues up until today. Zimbabwe, alongside many other headlines you may receive, is a country that is shaped by what we do one for another with each other. It is a country of ukokolela. Just call it the Zim's Q factor, the Q factor. Just remember that. And it is a country that is beholden to others. The solidarity it has received since its independence up until now, from our northern neighbors, Zambia, from our other neighbors, Tanzania, and many other countries, that leads to a collective that we call Zimbabwe. So Zimbabwe is just not territory, but it is an idea in itself. So it is perhaps this idea that we receive when we are supported during our quest for liberation that continues to be a dominant framework of how we do our things here in Zimbabwe. Ukokolera being a framework developed by our colleagues from the Community Foundations for the Western region, mostly working in a region called Matebele and Intermediates, talking about the power of small gifts coming together and mobilizing to shape communities. And also, just to reiterate, that despite everything that you may see here, Zimbabwe remains rural. 55 to 60% of our people are based in the rural areas. So when I welcome you to Zimbabwe, I have to welcome you to its rural reality. Our rural realities are that we are dependent on the rains. We are dependent on our cattle, we're dependent on our horses, we're dependent on the land. But also, we shape social organization and agency through what we learn from the rural areas. So this is the country of Mukando. This is the country of Umwe. This is the country of Ungambaniso. This is the country of Amalima. All these are frameworks that speak to what you're gathered here to do, to discuss African philanthropy. This is the country that depends upon all these frameworks that I've discussed. Because there are many who wish to see when does D-Day come when it comes to Zimbabwe's collapse. Because the crisis has been spoken of in different ways, and people have been waiting for the day. Others said maybe the country will close down. But because of the resilience of the people, the resilience of Mkando, Umbambaniso, Ukokolera, the country continues to go on. But perhaps it is the story that is less often told about the resilience of its people. This is the country that when we are facing a challenge called a flood, when we're facing a challenge called El Nino drought, many people look to what government is doing, but that is not enough. When I was having a conversation with the permanent secretary, we mentioned that it has become a realization, not only in Zimbabwe, but across the globe, that government alone cannot solve people's problems. This is the country where if you are here for the first time, make sure before you leave, you've spoken to a Zimbabwean, and you have learned something, but you've also shared something about where you come from. This is a country that is kept together by the people's agency, the people's resilience, and the people's desire to see a better day. But also perhaps our biggest gift to the continent and to the world is our people. And being a gift, being an export that was sent all over the world, on the continent, helping to build institutions. There was somebody who said at a meeting, I did not know that By then he was doctor. I did not know Professor Beningos Moyo is from Zimbabwe. He is ours. Others may not know that Brian Kaboro is from Zimbabwe. He is ours. Others may not know Tawanda Mtasa. He is ours. But this is a country that has sent, that is Zimbabwe's philanthropy. That we are sending people who are helping to shape continental narratives and to shape global development patterns. But we are also happy about those whom we have sent. Because those whom we have sent, in terms of aggregate figures, the remittances from the diaspora are the biggest inflow of foreign currency into our country. Again, a part of African philanthropy, Africans supporting one another, Zimbabweans supporting their own in Zimbabwe. So this is a country where there's so much to celebrate, and yet there's so much to talk about as a problem. We have our challenges. This is a country that is marred by polarization, tensions and mistrust. This is a country that is dealing with a very difficult bill that both houses have passed, the houses of the legislative houses, the lower house and the upper house. They have passed the private voluntary organizations bill, and it's waiting presidential assets. In that bill, if the president signs, this will be the third time that legislators have sent a bill to do with our sector, and the president has been our saving grace. First, it was Robert Mugabe, way back in 2003 to 2004, who refused to sign the NGO bill. 2 years ago, it was our current president who also refused to sign, but now it has come back. We are again hoping that it will not be signed into law. Because the moment it is signed into law, it will render most of us illegal. It will render what we do formally illegal, but it will not destroy African philanthropy. Because African philanthropy has never been about organizations. It is how we live. It is how we shape our day-to-day realities. Welcome to Zimbabwe.